After leading a women's march at the Sundance Film Festival, comedian Chelsea Handler decided to tear down another woman, our First Lady, Melania Trump.
What about Melania? Would you have her on your show?
Melania? What, to talk about what? She can barely speak English. I don't respect either one of those people.
Yeah, you're a real champion for women. Handler, of course, failed to mention that Mrs. Trump speaks 5 languages, English among them, and she does so eloquently. So, Juan, I've got to ask you, the left and Chelsea Handler among them, they've accused Donald Trump of being ignorant, sexist, racist, all these different things. Does it tear down the credibility of the left to say something so ignorant?
I think it's rude. I think that's the point, is that, look, Melania Trump is our First Lady, and she deserves to be treated with some dignity. She has a strong accent. Is that what Chelsea Handler's talking about? I don't know. She didn't say that. What she said was she can barely speak. And that's just not true. And it just strikes me as kind of brutish and rude. That's what I thought. So I didn't like it. But I must say that, when you talked about...
But do you think if that statement was being made about, let's say, the reverse situation, it was Michelle Obama, how do you think that would go
obviously,
over
I don't think Michelle... I think, as I said to you, I think what she's talking about is her heavy accent, and I think Michelle Obama doesn't have a heavy accent.
But point I'm making is there seems to be a double standard in the media when someone like Chelsea Handler on the left says something versus someone on the right. But, Greg, what do you think of this?
You know what I love about this? She led a women's march down Main Street in Park City during the second day of Sundance. You could not find a more elitist, insulated, white, pompous activity than the Sundance Film Festival and a bunch of rich liberal women covered in fur walking down a pretentious street in a pretentious event. I mean, this is the equivalent of like marching through Beverly Hills in protest of kale prices. You can't take anybody seriously. They are so out of touch and stupid. I can't imagine her being married to a nominee, running for president in a foreign country, and having to make a speech before thousands and thousands of people, in which English, sober.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, seriously.
I'd be drunk as a skunk.
She's got books about that. But, Dana, I want to go to you. So, we've got, obviously, this comment from Chelsea Handler. Madonna has made some pretty crazy comments as far as offering, sexual favors for votes. She also mentioned at the march on Saturday, alluded to blowing up the White House or saying she's thought about it. And you've got Vanity Fair retweeted or tweeted something out from SNL saying that about Kellyanne Conway being very critical, basically saying that she's grasping for attention. What do you think about this, pretty obvious, or at least it seems obvious to me, this double standard?
Well, I'll just stick to the Melania Trump piece, which is one, I don't think that Chelsea Handler would ever even be granted an interview by Melania Trump. I certainly would never recommend it. Like, what would be the point? What cause are you advancing at that point? And I do think that First Ladies deserve a lot of room, and they should not be criticized. She didn't ask to be the First Lady of the United States, but she's proud to be, and I think she's conducted herself with such dignity, and she was absolutely gorgeous. And not just what she wore, obviously, and she's beautiful, but her demeanor. I thought that was wonderful to have poise and grace. And I think all First Ladies can bring that. None of them would need to give an interview to Chelsea Handler.
Right. No, that's an excellent point. Eric, what do you think?
So, isn't the left supposed to be inclusive? Right? Could you be more bigoted than to make this comment about Melania's accent, who, by the way, speaks English, French, Italian, German, and Slovene fluently? Chelsea, how many do you speak? I'm just curious. How about this, though? She had tweeted in October, hopefully an interpreter will be present when Donald Trump and Melania will give their speeches on the campaign. She's doubling down on some pretty, I guess, disgusting rhetoric.
It's been a rough week on this front because that NBC Saturday Night Live host who tweeted out a writer, I should say, who tweeted out something about Barron. I just don't like it. I don't think it advances liberal cause, that's for sure. But I think across the spectrum, we've seen this with the Obamas, now with the Trumps. I just think it's rude and unnecessary.
And we all remember when the Republican staffer got fired for saying a lot less than that. But, all right, we've got to move on. And one more thing is coming up next.